Yeah, I think that's why Greece has been chosen as the first one to be sacrificed as the birthplace of democracy. It's quite symbolic that that was the first country to have its democracy overridden. Obviously, then they went on to do the same thing in Italy with Monti. It's interesting to see that the Italians would rather have a comedian than a tyrant running their country. And I think, a lot of this is about destroying trust in the political system, so that when the people are told, there's something better, but you won't get to vote, they say, listen, if we can have our pensions back, we'll give up the vote. It's that kind of an agenda that's going on.
Do you think this EU project that Bilderberg has been building for quite a while, do you think it could survive the United Kingdom breaking off?
I think they're very worried about it. I think it's why there's so much targeting of UKIP at the moment, because clearly the people think like we do, and we're the only remaining opposition to the Lib Lab Con. So as our numbers go up, we're putting on about 2% every week at the moment. As our numbers go up, there's more and more stories about how we're all loonies and lefties and our Facebook accounts are getting hacked. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on to try and make it look like we're the closet racists, whereas, of course, actually they're all sitting in Westminster, but they're closet racists. They don't actually come out and say it in public.
Yes. The Bilderberg group has released a list of participants along with a few points of their agenda. And one of the points was nationalism and populism. So how convinced are you they're talking about the UKIP and how to contain that?
I'm sure that we're on the agenda in there somewhere. I love the two words nationalism and populism have become dirty words. So if I understand it right, populism means that people want to vote for you. Well, obviously that can't be allowed anymore, so we have to make that a dirty word. And actually being proud of your own country, well, that's clearly a dirty word when they want you to be proud of a ring of stars and an army ceremony in Brussels every year to Beethoven's Ode to Joy. Which it's interesting to note that to get the Constitution through, they had to redo it as the Lisbon Treaty, and they dropped both the flag and the anthem from the Lisbon Treaty. So why every year on May the 9th do they still have the flag and Ode to Joy? It's been dropped, it's gotten rid of, so why haven't they gotten rid of it? They carry on doing it because they're building a superstate.
Yes.
The first thing you've got to do is try and induce some element of loyalty to that flag and that anthem instead of the nation states that they're trying to destroy.
So what do you think about the kind of the elephant in the room when you consider that Bilderberg's founder had Nazi ties, and also they put in charge of the EU a guy named Walter Hallstein, who was another ranking Nazi. I mean, how?
I don't think the provenance of any of these people bears examination. I think they're all dodgy. And if we got some proper journalists who actually did some journalism anymore. See, journalism has become Google cut and paste now. So they don't do any journalism. There's no investigative reporting anymore. They just Google somebody and then they cut and paste it into their article. And if we had some investigative reporters, this stuff would come out, but we don't have them anymore. All the journalists are trying to climb up the tree by making themselves, useful to the right people. So it's pretty much, journalism's become like politics. You go in early and you make the right people happy and you get promoted.
Yes. What do you think is a Bilderberg goal besides making more money? Because obviously there's more to it.
I think they can make as much money as they want because they're the people that print it. So I don't really think they need this to do that. I think what they're ultimately wanting to do is to control all our lives. And I want to know what they're discussing in there. Most of them are on the public payroll, and the ones that aren't on the public payroll are running banks that are being propped up with our money. Why can't we know what they're talking about?
Exactly. Would you say it's kind of a parallel structure to government, an invitation-only sort of quasi-parliament?
I don't think it's parallel because that implies that government's still in charge. I don't think government's been in charge for quite some time now. I think this is the real power going on in there, and we go through this puppet show of democracy, which turns out as soon as a bank fails, they can replace they can replace an elected politician with a technocrat anytime they like, apparently. Monty's in there.
Yes.
You'll notice that there's 3 or 4 failed politicians in there. Sarkozy's in there. Monty's in there. They've been rejected by the people, but they're still in there talking.
Yeah. But
why isn't François Hollande in there?
Yeah.
Because he's a socialist.
But sort of these backbencher politicians, they seem to get invited to Bilderberg, and then they reappear bigger than before. I mean,
power behind the throne. Peter Mandelson's in there.
Yes.
Talk about Teflon coated. He's been through God knows how many scandals, and he still gets invited.
He's still coming back. Well, thank you very much. And can you say again your name and?
My name's Paul Whiffin. I'm a member of the UK Independence Party, and I'm a freedom campaigner. Done a lot of work on the Julian Assange case. If you Google me, that should come up.
Well, thank you very much.